Hey guys, how we doing?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin.
So the last episode of The West Wing, it was a really star-studded episode.
We had really three solid, really guest stars
Yeah,
in Mark Harmon, Ian McShane, and Peter Scolari. All three were there as guest
I
roles.
forgot about Scolari.
Yeah,
Um, I love when he pops up in things. It's great.
he is.
Mark Harmon. I'm like, okay, so and a lot of people on Patreon confirmed that this role is what got him NCIS.
I mean, it really made sense. It felt like the same kind of role, and I know this
Yeah.
predated it. Yeah,
Somebody said in the comments that they were casting for NCIS and they thought he was too pretty for the role, and I'm like, what? And I guess they referred to The West Wing. That's
right.
So
Yeah, but have you seen any network cop shows?
like
Everybody's pretty.
just watch the Presidio.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's like that might be the biggest movie,
I mean,
honestly.
isn't that like the running joke with a lot of network cop shows? Is like, oh look, all these like, especially when they use younger actors. It's like, oh look, there's 5 supermodels walking around that are like on this crime investigation team.
Have you seen Miami Vice?
I mean, really, yeah, right.
But no, I like Mark Harmon personally.
I do too. I think he's a very talented actor. I think he's kind of flown under the radar a lot.
Yeah. Well, some
Yeah.
actors make it on TV or on movies. Some actors are destined for TV.
Sure.
You know him, Caruso, Michael Chiklis. You know, so
Yeah, sure. There's and as we've said a million times, and this show was a perfect example. Starting around this time, right, when this and Malcolm in the Middle and obviously The Sopranos came
TV
out,
was changing.
TV became the it game when movies became all all blockbusters, all sequels, all regurgitated content.
Yeah.
The place to really start exploring as an artist is television, and so a lot of great actors, that's what they do.
Well, back in the day, you want to go back to when movies first started. They were cheap. People go see
Absolutely.
those instead of plays. And now we live in a world around the time of the West Wing where it's TV now.
Yeah, it is TV.
Everybody can watch it.
TV is where the prestige is, and it really changed when, again, The Sopranos and this, which were about the same time. They said we don't have to just do self-contained episodes. We can actually trust our audience to start a show, and it's a running story. And you got to keep up. You have to come back and join us.
I don't think West Wing. I don't think any show that we're watching right now does the continuous storyline or like cliffhangers quite like the West Wing does.
For sure.
The West Wing. I'm really invested in this apparently 4-part story
Right.
that we're getting up into the finale, and I mean we left a lot on the table last episode.
Just the start of that episode
resolved some of it.
Right. Do you ever have those things like we're not morons. We know they're fictional, but they still kind of emotionally hang with you.
Yes.
There's I don't want to spoil any other television show, but Breaking Bad, when
It's been 10 years.
what's her name? Oh my God, Jesse's girlfriend, the heroine. The actress,
Kristen
Chenoweth. No, not Kristen Chenoweth. Kristen. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed right now. Yeah. At any rate,
when she was on that Marvel show,
Jessica Jones, right? When she, let's say, departs Breaking Bad, that hung with me. I felt gross about that. For weeks. Like I was disturbed by it, even though, like, obviously it's fictional.
Sure.
The story at the beginning last week that CJ got dumped on her before press conference about the girls that burned up in the school, in the Saudi Arabian school,
certainly stuck with us
because the morality police or whoever they were wouldn't let the girls out of the school because they weren't in their proper head covering, so they died. That, I know it's fictional, but my God, that really hung over me all week.
Apparently that was inspired by something that actually happened.
I didn't want to look because I thought that was probably the case.
Somebody pointed out on Patreon, and I guess in real life there was some controversy surrounding that because it was not accurate. They were not held in there in real life. They were. They had the option to leave, but they stayed in for some reason. I guess it's really complicated.
Sure.
Obviously, in terms of the story, which is fiction,
right?
It's compelling.
Yeah. I think everyone probably watching the show felt the same frustration that CJ was sharing in the press conference.
And it's a difficult part of the world as well. So it's not unrealistic to say that this could happen or has ever had happened. You know what I mean?
Right. It's that really gray area of religious freedom versus human rights, which is a fight that has gone on since people decided that the religion was going to be a part of their lives.
And we don't step on toes here,
right? Yeah, of course.
But I think we can recognize injustice when we see it.
Yeah, that is unjust, obviously, and there's a billion other examples.
Sure.
But I don't want to get off.
We're
not going to get into any of that, but that brings Mark Harmon in because CJ is being stalked. And the only reason I even bring this up is because we had one or two people who said, well, CJ probably shouldn't have reacted the way that she did anyway.
Yeah.
You know, she was kind of stepping out a little bit. Now, I agree with her. That's just my take.
I agree with her too.
I agreed that it's okay. Yeah, I know that it might not have been politically wise, but and she did say she wasn't speaking for the administration. But
do you think this comes back in this episode? What she said at the beginning of the episode?
I don't think I think when someone said this is a multiple story arc, that has to be what they were talking about, right?
I think that maybe, and then also the Iran situation with the nuclear reactor.
Oh, right. The fact that there are elements of the Russian military that is selling nuclear, whatever it was, heavy water capabilities to Iran to enrich weapons grade.
Make a bomb, basically.
Yeah, weapons grade uranium or plutonium. I can't remember. Plutonium. Okay. I don't think either one of those storylines is done. I think Mark Harmon's still going to be here.
Yes, he's on for a minute.
I feel like the other two, as far as our guest appearances, I think we kind of did what we needed to do with Ian McShane. We did what we needed to do with Peter Scolari, which was a completely different storyline.
Yep.
But I don't think CJ being stalked is done.
I hope not, because, well, okay, in real life it's terrible, but in TV,
we're in TV world, right? It does make for good TV, sure.
We made several bodyguard jokes, the Kevin Costner movie. I don't think they're gonna rip off the Bodyguard at all. You know what I mean? But I think that we can.
CJ could do the Jackal, and maybe
she could instead of "I'll always love you."
Exactly,
it's the Jackal. But also, I want to touch upon the Ian McShane part briefly. So apparently, the Russian president is the stand-in for Putin,
right?
And boy, have times changed.
Yeah,
he's not the benevolent president that he's portrayed as in the show now.
It's interesting to see how some things age.
Right?
Because politics is always changing. Things age.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it was just Putin on the show. But
we're starting to run long here, and I know that we
got 2 today.
We've done that to people before. We're sorry, but we do want to welcome Kate Old, Black Rain 712, Emma Rosen, and Shir Maman to our Patreon page. Welcome, guys. We're very glad you're here with us.
We really are. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel.
Hello.
If you don't mind the like button for us, leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the new content we've coming your way.
If you'd like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or watching, please check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. We are 4 or 5 episodes ahead right now on Patreon. If you're watching this on YouTube, so you get with this, you want to keep going, you can hop over there. You'll need to sync and watch along on your own device. A streaming service. You're just going to see or hear us. We're also watching 30 Rock right now as a Patreon exclusive. We just wrapped up the entire run of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and are currently starting The Good Place.
Yeah, motorcade. Here we go. Or short motorcade.
So yeah.
What'd you bring me?
I brought you a collector's plate of a moose racing through the woods.
I love moose.
I know how you do. What's this?
I don't know. It's more personal.
You don't know who sent it?
There's no return address.
You want to follow me in a chase car? That's fine. But you have been annoying me for 6 days. You annoyed me here for 3 days, then you annoyed me in Finland.
I don't know that I really like how they're setting this up as contentious.
Right?
Don't call me Ms. Craig. This isn't a Western.
I'm required to call you ma'am or Ms. Craig. There are rules and regulations.
You can look at my taillights.
I think I'm not allowed to do that either.
I will see you at home.
Okay.
There's no way you're letting me walk out the door, so what is it we're doing?
I've got your spark plug.
You got a spark plug?
And the battery.
This just came in the mail. It's an opposition spot.
What are you talking about?
Sam thought it was something else.
Throwing
God.
to cover up his failure, refusing to sign a clean campaign pledge so he won't have to defend his broken promises.
Who sent you this?
That's the thing.
What?
I don't know.
I missed you.
When did you find you missed me the most?
The nights.
Of course.
Did you bring me anything? I'm just happy it's not moose. What is it?
Moose. It's sauna smoked moose meat.
This must be a different time kind of situation because these ads are out all the time. People are like, yeah, okay, another dumb ad.
Yeah.
Like, we get inundated with this.
If I wanted to sink the Bartlett campaign, this is exactly the ad I'd run. But I would show it to the other side to let them know what happens if they hit me first. Every campaign has one in the drawer.
We didn't.
Yes, we did. If this was stolen, I don't want Sam to end up like the girlfriend of an indicted senator.
Do you have any reason to believe it was stolen?
No.
Yeah.
Just stick it in a drawer and forget it.
No. What are you suggesting?
I sit down with Kevin Kahn.
There are only 2 things here. Either somebody's trying to hurt us, or somebody's trying to help us.
Yeah, I trust Bruno when it comes to the campaign stuff. He seems to always be right. You know what I mean?
We should really be talking about programming.
We have to.
Yes.
And we have to call it programming.
Call it what you like. We call it programming.
Look, Dean Martin roast, it ain't, but...
We're talking about cutting back on our coverage.
You can't do an hour a night? That's...
See, you don't understand. We're talking about an hour. For each convention, we cover the acceptance speeches, that's it.
They take all the Henrys, they do a thing, they call it War of the Roses. I'm told by those that saw it in London, it's spectacular. Catholic Charities brought out a Broadway theater.
Mr. President, we have reason to believe there'll be an attack on a U.S. military installation sometime in the next 48 hours.
Sir, I'd like all carriers and destroyers into harbor where we can give them water security.
I need updates every half hour for the next 48 hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're gonna sleep, my man.
He's not, I guess.
Look, this is obviously a... Do not eat the fruit.
Oh,
this
he's
is obviously
mad.
a negotiating position for you.
That was a power move.
That fruit down.
Yeah. Fruits for closing.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
You're getting huffed because the four of us are questioning the wisdom of presenting a 4-day infomercial in prime time under network news? We'll show the acceptance speeches. And the balloons. The balloons aren't news, but it's nice television.
I'm kind of with Toby and want to slap this guy in the face.
Yeah, he was being kind of a D-bag about it.
The news is a public service you're supposed to do.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm taking my niece Hogan shopping for a dress for her junior prom.
Okay. In a populated place, a department store, I always walk ahead of you. I don't like more than 5 feet between us, so if you ditch me because my back is to you, that would be too far. I can't carry bags. My hands always have to be free.
Plus, you're not my valet.
Yeah, but I'm still growing and I got my eyes on the prize.
I love with it, like the fact that this got him a starring role.
It's great.
Yeah, but isn't that the kind of thing you do when you meet a guy and you're...
It's Mark Harmon.
Never mind. It was
charming
obviously
and
some
handsome.
kind of left-brain hip check. I'll take care of it.
Some sauna-cured meat.
Moose meat.
Yeah, showed up on eBay.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know that's a no-no, right?
Did you try the moose meat?
I didn't, and I'll tell you why. I'm saving it for a special...
It's up to $180 on eBay. I don't need to tell you that you can't sell
I gave
something.
it to an intern.
You did?
Come on, I'll take care of it.
Fire the intern.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Have to.
Right.
Kevin Kahn, your father.
Kevin?
Yeah.
He just called.
Yeah.
Don't take the call. But I think Bruno's right. There's some kind of setup here, right?
There's got to be.
Is Sam going to do something stupid because Bruno told him?
I have
Everyone in the
Sam
room told him
Seaborn
not to.
returning for Mr. Kahn.
He's headstrong, I mean.
1 o'clock at Old Ebbitt.
He's gonna talk to him about it, and I think this is a mistake. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a mistake. But it feels like a setup.
Holy hell. Dover Air Force Base and Fort Myer.
How could they possibly have the capability to strike a U.S. base? The list of possible targets now includes Dover in Delaware and Fort Myer in Maryland. And they're close to putting the White House on the list. We have to talk about the bunker.
I'm not going to the bunker.
Sir.
We're not going to the
Come
bunker.
on.
Sends a terrible sign.
Your feet may touch the ground a couple of times along the way, but I doubt it.
Yeah. The Treasury says the president will be protected whether he wants to or not.
Absolutely. Howard Jones playing.
This girl has definitely been to a Matchbox 20 concert.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I love
Because they cost a month's salary.
Oh, I know
I've seen
her.
her.
Yeah, okay. Evan Rachel Wood.
It is Evan Rachel Wood, yeah.
You were at Roslyn.
Yep.
He's like, you betcha.
Well, you're a good guy.
Alice and Janie. I love you.
CJ, you're not
Janny.
going to believe this.
Janny?
Hogan?
Yes, Janny.
We're going to tell her
People
another
have corrected
time,
us.
okay?
Forgive me. The lunch, which is, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
I thought Margaret was the girl who worked here before.
I'm the girl who worked here before. I'm Margaret.
I'm sorry about the thing.
What thing?
The open mic.
I'm not talking about that.
I think you are.
I like this. I think it's a mistake.
Somebody made an attack ad and sent me a
The
copy.
guy wasn't even fishing.
Which one's getting
Right.
attacked?
The president. You've got a mole. We don't need it. We don't want it.
But in the end, if we had Tiny Tim and Miss What's-her-name doing the roll call, they would cover it like that.
There's
a little bit of what they want.
Like what?
Me? I like animals that can do math. I don't believe it is possible that these 4 people got together and decided anything.
Wait a second. How is it possible that these 4 people got together and decided something? I mean, how is it possible that they got together and agreed?
So was that illegal collusion? You know, like gas stations aren't supposed to all like change their prices, set prices together.
You think? I mean, maybe.
It is illegal. Collusion is
Yeah,
that kind of anti-monopoly collusion is illegal.
What about Abdul Sharif? Isn't Sharif supposed to be helping us with intelligence out of Kumar?
He's not.
You put something from the White House on eBay. Do you know how embarrassing that is?
For who?
For me, for Josh, for the president, for everybody who works here, for you. And you're gonna have to give me $210.
Why?
Because I'm the one who got the thing off eBay.
It's covering a check I wrote already.
I'm out $210.
Sorry.
Fire him.
Yeah, you're fired.
Fire him.
Fired, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to work.
So this is blowing up. This is blowing up in Sam's face.
Yep.
Because if you don't, the Justice Department is going to investigate you for antitrust violations.
Yeah.
You're accusing us of conspiring to not show a money-losing program?
Not me so much as the Justice Department. There isn't going to be a horse race to cover, either in New York or San Diego, but we gave you the airwaves for free 70 years ago.
Yes.
About not meeting with Kevin Conn. He called me. It was out of the blue.
No, it wasn't.
We're good friends. He wants to keep things civil. I agree this is bad.
Right.
And I take full responsibility. This isn't bad, Sam.
Reports that it had no involvement in the production of the ad and does not know
Now it's running on the news for free.
The ad alluding to President Bartlett's
Straight up
free
media.
media.
Gave it to him for free.
Yeah.
We don't want
All
this.
day, all night, or free.
I can't believe you did that! Go to hell. What happened? What happened with the open mic? It's my candidate you made a punchline out of. Is it gonna happen again? I think it will. I think it will too.
Yeah.
They arrested him.
Oakland, California.
The Coast Guard boarded and seized a 50-foot boat about 200 yards off the port of Oakland.
Why'd they want it?
Because of what's above it.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
The prisoner says he worked with a Bahi operative in Grozny who reported
To who?
Abdul Sharif.
Are you telling me the Kumari defense minister may have ordered an attack on the Golden Gate Bridge?
Oh my God, he was there.
Maybe it was the guy in the coat then.
It might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang it! Actually, no. We're watching another one right away.
Yeah.
We're preparing for Monday. Heck yeah, dude! I'm so excited.
Right.
Oh man, that was awesome.
That was a really nice closing moment. It kind of does feel like the Bodyguard now a little.
Oh God.
But I do want to say, like, I find the writing on the show to be almost flawless all the time, right?
Yeah.
I really do, which is tough to say when they've done,
It's problematic sometimes, but nothing crazy,
This is the most. The closest thing to like, come on, that I've had with the writing on the show was the beginning where she's kind of going off on Simon.
Yeah.
And it's like, this feels forced a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
it's clearly setting up that obviously they're going to get past this hump.
Yes.
And by the end of the episode, she obviously respects him.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see that his presence is absolutely necessary. And I'm sure she'll accept that after this last email.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why we needed to take it to that extreme to set that up.
I think it's just it's a traditional story arc, right?
It is. It felt
it's
very
conventional.
It felt tropey, didn't it? A little bit.
A little bit. And it's we forget this was on NBC,
right?
So
it is network television.
You need to rope in some
sure
older audience members that are used to that kind of thing. Because you watch like an old '50s movie, like even Hitchcock movies. Sometimes you watch those movies and you're like, okay, this is kind of dumb.
Well, I mean, Sorkin is often sentimental, and I'm a sucker for Sorkin sentimentalism. I really am.
Yeah.
And so that's never bothered me.
Sure.
And again, his writing is expert, but I don't know. Usually, even when he's being sentimental, even when he's setting up dramatic tension like this, it's masked better. It doesn't stand out as much. I feel like this is the first time in 60 episodes that we've watched, or around there, more than that it feels like that felt a little bit forced to me. Nothing else has.
It drifts into like thriller territory.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
The Bodyguard. It's the Bodyguard. Okay. Can we say they're doing the Bodyguard?
They're doing the Bodyguard.
They're doing the Bodyguard.
If Mark Harmon takes a bullet for her and then kills the guy,
if
right?
they fall in love,
right?
I'm like, all right, Sorkin, what's up?
Right.
Did he like do like an uncredited rewrite in the Bodyguard?
Exactly. If CJ's niece is the one that secretly hired the hitman,
all of a sudden Whitney Houston starts playing. We're like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Harmon comes back with that little Julius Caesar haircut.
Yeah.
But other than that, again, it was an expert episode. I thought that was really nice build.
I like it a lot.
I like the aspect of preparing for the attack.
Yes.
And then they thwart it, but it was a nice reveal that we were looking on the wrong coast, even really.
Well, it's weird because the last episode it was all about Iran, right?
Yeah.
And now we pivot to this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so something is building. I don't know if it. I don't know what's going to be. I obviously think it's going to be a meeting with
I didn't catch his name, but the defense minister of Kumar, who is an ally technically on the show, right? The country isn't, therefore the minister is. They're doing a visit to the United States, a peace, some type of summit, right?
Yeah,
and they secretly helped set up the attack that was thwarted on the Golden Gate Bridge. So now it's like, you said you hadn't seen 13 Days, right?
I have not. I'm aware of it.
It's historically accurate, and at one point,
set in the 60s, right?
Right. Yeah. While the Soviets were putting missiles in Cuba, right? And before they thought the United States knew, they came over and visited and had a little summit. And the president's like, "No, nothing going on we should know about, right? Nope, everything's good." And both of them are looking at each other, knowing the truth the whole time, right?
So who does Costner play in that?
It's an assistant to the president.
Because he's not like the White House or anything.
No, Bruce Greenwood, who I think is a magnificent actor, plays Kennedy in the movie.
I'm gonna check this one out.
I think it's really good. The weakest part of the movie is Costner.
Oh yeah,
because
his 90s weren't kind of cool.
You know how good he is at accents, right? Well, he does a really heavy Boston JFK accent in the movie,
does?
And it's so distracting.
Bobby,
yeah,
John, Jack,
yeah, he was doing that, and everyone else was so much better. It's a really good cast of supporting actors, right, all the way through.
It's a great accent in JFK, though. That's crazy that he
kind of does, doesn't he? He can do it. He can pull off Southern, but man, when he starts going English or Boston,
Massachusetts,
it is, and it's jarring. But at any rate, other than that opening, I felt like it was really solid, and it's setting up a pretty strong finish. We have some very serious issues to resolve here, probably by the end of the season, I would guess, as we're heading towards the finale here.
Not including this episode, we have 2 left.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, we really are. And also, I want to point out. So your critique was of the opening,
right? The CJ going off on him about not having privacy.
Sure, mine would be the same thing.
Okay,
because it's like, not the fact that a character on the show made this mistake, right? Because we need that to happen to move the plot forward. Right?
Yeah, human beings blow off steam sometimes, right? They get frustrated and things boil over. You see it all the time. Yeah.
My frustration is the fact that it's always Sam.
Sam's screwing up. Yeah,
it's consistently Sam, and I don't know why. I mean, obviously we had a couple. Was it last season where Toby dropped the ball?
Yeah, Toby dropped the ball last season. Yeah, Sam did one time too. I don't remember the context where Sam dropped the ball. I just remember Josh making fun of him, saying it's like The Godfather, and he was like Al Pacino, like he's saying he's going to get revenge and everything.
Yes,
because Sam kind of dropped the ball, and he did it here again. And I feel like I need to go back and look
before that too, because it's we're always surprised by it because we're like, how is somebody so smart, so naive?
Right. Well, it's just he's a trusting guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, this guy was his friend. The problem is even us who aren't nearly as sharp as Sam is, the character is a really sharp guy. He's in the political world. As soon as like that phone call came and like, hey, this guy you wanted to talk to is calling you randomly to go out for lunch. It's like, dude, this is a setup, clearly.
And maybe it's because this is dated and we're not as naive now as we were then. Maybe, maybe
about how dirty politics can get.
Yeah.
Sure.
Different times,
Right.
But yeah, it didn't take me out of the show at all.
No.
Nothing took me out of the show.
No. They didn't feel like I was taken more out of that fight at the beginning than I was with Sam's mistake.
It was a good reveal with the spark plug thing. That was kind of funny.
That was pretty funny.
But yeah, I think all the way around, it was a great episode. Obviously, Sorkin, I clocked it in the credits that he wrote this one by himself. When you're doing 23 episodes a season, I mean, it's a heavy toll.
You're hauling for sure. You are.
And it's so fact-based too.
Yeah,
the fact that it's all the attention to detail is so important.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a ton of researchers working with him on some of this stuff, and
so you can't fault him for like having one of the storylines maybe being a little underwritten.
Not every single beat of every single arc is going to land perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it took this long for me to say that one didn't really ring as true to me. I guess the only thing comparable to me is Mandy in general, right?
Yes.
I felt like Mandy didn't land, and someone in YouTube comments totally innocently said, just because she disappeared doesn't mean she was written off the show. It could have been a thing where like her job took her to another congressman, and I'm like, well, let me look, because it feels like she was written off the show.
She was there at Rosalind,
right,
and then she was just
gone. And Sorkin himself said he wrote her off the show because the character just not a critique of the actress who's Moira Kelly, but simply because the character wasn't working.
It is weird though, right? They didn't address her ever again.
Right. Yeah. That's what's weird to me, right?
Yeah.
Like characters have left the show. Like I remember John Larroquette left the show.
Yeah.
But they mentioned him.
They brought
when
Oliver Platt in.
When Oliver Platt came in, they're like, it used to be Tribby, and now we've got this guy. And like, okay, so they mentioned Larroquette's character is still existing in the universe.
Yeah.
Mandy, who has a much bigger presence than Larroquette,
like killer offering.
They didn't do anything. They didn't even even a line is like, well, she took a job helping the senator who was running for president, and leave it at that. There could have been one sentence.
Yeah.
And they just disappeared her. A lot of people have said that that's called like sending a character to Mandyville and you just write them off the show because they're not working.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense to me, right?
I think Parks and Rec did it.
Parks and Rec.
He was the lead the first 2 seasons.
The romantic, what was his name? Mark Brandanowitz, I think.
Something like that.
They at least had him leave the show. Like they wrote him off. Like he had like a goodbye with Leslie and stuff.
Out of thin air.
This was a thin air. Like, nope, this was a mistake. We're done.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think, I you guys share so much behind the scenes with us, and I really do love it because it does make for an interesting read.
Right.
It's just the ins and outs of the show, man. Like you could fill a book full of it.
Yeah. There's a lot going on here. It's a fascinating show. It's incredibly well done. It's hard to believe that this was a network show.
Yeah.
Because of how, and I'm, not to slam people like network shows or anything. We're streaming. There's a lot of prestige network shows.
But it's obvious, right? Like,
but this feels more like
HBO.
This feels more like a cable show in that it's serialized. You ask a lot of the audience. It doesn't feel like you're dumbing things down to get as many corporate sponsors in as possible to run commercials.
Yeah.
This is really a complex show compared to hour-long dramas you typically see on network television.
Absolutely.
This isn't like one of the 911s or the fire rescue shows or anything like that.
It's closer to like All the President's Men or something.
Absolutely. This is a smart show.
Yeah.
I wish networks would do more of this. I see why they can't really, because broadcast television is kind of going away and being replaced by streaming. So
the quality dips.
You're really trying to grab a broad audience.
Yeah.
And so there's a lowest common denominator factor where it's like, I need this simple enough so that my grandma can sit down and watch this and enjoy herself and then forget about it for a week and then come back and sit down and it's not too complicated and I can get up and pee during a commercial break. Right. It's just a different kind of entertainment.
You want to get everybody though. You want to get grandma, you want to get the kids in high school, you want to get the 20-something year olds.
It's like the bad sequels to Die Hard in that like, okay, we did
for 3.
It's right. But I mean, I'm talking like the last 2, the late ones where it's like, let's go ahead and make these PG-13 so that the kids can go themselves and watch it because we're trying to grab as many dollars as we can. That's why we have this PG-13ing of movies that would be so much better if they were just R. You know what I mean?
But it's also like they do that because they want to grab them in. But
it's
like,
a money thing for sure.
Who your audience is, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
Who
was it made for in the first place?
Right. Nothing against PG-13 movies. There are some great ones.
Yeah.
But the reality is if you're putting something in a movie theater now with the state of movie theaters and it's PG-13, it's, oh my God, can we please we're doing it to grab as big an audience as possible.
Sure.
That's why the Deadpool movies are hard to get made. It's an R-rated movie you're trying to make money on. It worked.
I think that's being disproven now too. Look at Oppenheimer, second highest grossing movie of the year, almost $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're making good movies, people will come watch it no matter what they're rated.
And the same goes for television.
Exactly.
Put it on any channel. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend's another example of that too.
And that's bringing it back to the point. Yeah. You don't have to dumb things down from network television to get people to watch it. If it's good, you will have an audience.
It's good.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Oppenheimer. I mean, look at the subject matter. It's a biopic about the guy who made the nuclear bomb in the 50s.
With no action. It's a blockbuster.
How is that a huge blockbuster
3 hours
hit?
of talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was because you made a good movie.
Yeah.
Make a good TV show and people will come watch it.
Simple as that.
That's it.
It's that simple.
That's how AMC became a hit maker. AMC was just showing old movies for the most part. How did AMC become popular in television? They just decided to buy and make good shows.
Yeah.
They did The Walking Dead, which for a while was huge.
That's their capital.
Right. And then they did Breaking Bad and Mad Men all at the same time. What a lineup.
Yeah.
Right?
Truly. They were on top for a long time.
All of a sudden, that's where people wanted to be because they were making good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just to bring around the point, good for NBC for making this project. It was really, really solid for network television.
Yeah, I think this show's like TV PG too. So I mean, like the fact that
which is
heavy in it,
which is ironic because this show gets blocked for decency violations on our YouTube channel.
Really?
About half of them.
Some of them do. Yeah, you're right.
They block them. I ask them to review it. They review it and say, nope, it is too scandalous for sponsors.
This discussion.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, this certainly doesn't feel like this is too risque for sponsors.
Yeah, right, the air of censorship.
Maybe if you and I just stop throwing around slurs.
We're known to do that. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why we have a huge fan base.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. We're going to actually watch it right now.
Yes, we are. See ya.